Hello.
Hello, Megan.
Hello, Women Rocking Business. I'm going to rename myself. I'm, I'm not Sage. There we go. So good to see your beautiful faces, to see everybody hopping on. We have this all access call happens once a month. It started actually as a vision, especially for women to be able to gather and ask questions, especially who are international and might be having some time zone difficulties with our other call times, to make sure that we had a time later in the day. And I know people are calling in from all over the world, and we have even more of you in the program now because we have new incredible women who have joined us in Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy, as well as Leverage this month. And we've got some ladies in the Tribe training as well. So wherever you are in your program, in the business, if you've just jumped in with us in the last week, if you have already been here for since the spring, or some of you for a couple years now, you've been with us for a few years, you're in the perfect place for your business. And this is really your time to be able to find out what's that one question that you can ask that's going to help you move forward, that's going to help you take the next big step in your business and really be able to fully own that taking this one action step is moving you into more abundance. I love to look at this for myself in my personal practice as what I call abundance actions. And I like that better than my to-do list, because that just quite frankly never inspired me. So I often will write at the top of a page at the start of my day, abundance actions. And I notice that I'll light up more to think, yes, I'm owning my own role in creating this abundance that I want in my life in all the ways, right? Because we create abundance in our lives through clients coming in and hiring us. And we also create abundance through choices like I made just now, where I sat outside for half an hour and had lunch and enjoyed the sunshine and just soaked in some quiet time. And so just as we are taking action in our days to bring clients in, we also make choices and take actions that fuel our vitality and our vibrancy so that we can bring that to all those we're serving. So encourage you to adopt that practice yourself if that delights you, if it lights you up, to try that on. And we're going to move into some question time for you. This is all about you getting your questions answered and asking that one thing that's going to help move you forward. So just to be clear, it's not a full laser coaching session like you would have with your coach when you meet for 30 minutes. We're just giving you a few minutes of laser coaching and then moving forward to get the next question answered. And of course, these calls are always so different. Sometimes we have, lots of women joining in, and sometimes they're smaller groups. And so if we end up having more time to come back around and answer more questions, of course, I'm happy to do that. But we're here for the next 90 minutes. So go ahead and raise your hand virtually. So you'll have that possibility to do the hand raise at the bottom of the screen to be able to move forward. I'm just checking this. Yes. And then I think for you, it'll show under participants, and it'll pop up a little sidebar, and then you'll be able to click on your name and raise your hand. I know it shows up a few different ways, depending on if you're on your phone or computer, and different Zoom settings. So I already see some hands popping up, and I'd love to start with Joanne, because you were the first one to raise your hand. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hi, Joanne.
Hi there.
Hi.
Great to be here. So I just have a quick question. My signature talk, I had titled it Moving Through Menopause with Ease, which I didn't like. I knew I could get better. Someone suggested Mastering Menopause, which I do like a lot better. But anything else come to mind? So I'm helping women move through menopause with ease. So how does Mastering Menopause sound for a signature talk?
I notice when I hear mastering menopause, it sounds like a little bit more of like you're gonna like dominate it.
Yeah, I got that too.
And not always a bad thing, but it's just like there are times for that, and then there are times like I'm like, I wonder from the women who are here who have either gone through menopause or who are going through menopause, if there's a word that resonates with you, because this is a great example of checking with your target audience and seeing like, what would that word be? I love using the MM.
Yeah. And you're right. To me, the mastering menopause seems to be like too, granted it feels empowering, but it's a little too much in your face. And I want it to feel soft and safe.
And it depends on your personality too. So this is always great for all of you to consider in your marketing. If you're of like the whip cracking, like let's get right to it kind of personality, then that's awesome. And then if you're saying let's create a soft, safe, welcoming environment, and we're really going to get to share your feelings, then it may not be the perfect match. So that's just my instinct and what I feel on that one.
What I'm actually doing is I'm helping them through menopause without adding additional drugs or products. So we are going after the emotions and the limiting beliefs, because what I found for myself and working with several clients, that's where we can get faster results. So I do want it to feel calm and safe and peaceful. So that's where like moving through menopause with ease, that feels better, but I feel like it's also too many words.
Oh, I see Carol Ann's raising her hand, and Kat and Maureen. Okay, let's unmute. You guys just unmute and popcorn around some ideas, and I'm thinking on this too.
I haven't gone through menopause yet, but the word that came up for me is, what about like embracing menopause?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
So Carol Ann and Maureen said embracing.
I had the same thought. Yeah,
you had the same thought. Okay.
Yeah,
I have gone through it. I think part of the thing is that we have allowed the medical field to let women, or make women feel that it's horrible, that you have to take a pill, and it's not. That's not how it should be. I think it's part of life, and I think we need to get to a point where we kind of embrace it, accept it, and live with it, and not think of it as something so horrible that we're being taught that it is.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that, Carol Ann.
Starting to get in there. I'm just starting my menopause journey. So I feel that same way. It's like, I don't want to go to the medical community. I want to go to my community, my female community, my women's community, and say, hey, those who have gone before, what did you do? How did you do this? How did you cope? How did, and so I love what you're doing. Absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
I also
maybe we could, Joanne, are you in ELA or Leverage? Because I just tried to tag you in the Facebook group. I didn't see you.
I'm in ELA.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can find a chat offline, because part of, like, with some of our messaging, because part of what I'm trying to do right now too with targeting for like weight loss and autoimmune and healing is that whole concept of like helping people, women, learn to work with their body and not against it anymore.
Yeah.
With it and not at war. So like mastering was kind of like you said, the domination at war.
Yeah, it sounded like kind of like, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to like come over top of what's happening in my body. This won't stop me. It's like, if I think about, it's what I would like to do sometimes with my menstrual cycles. Like, I'm going to like, no, I got shit to do. And it doesn't work, right? That doesn't work.
Right. Fighting with it doesn't work. And I don't want to deal with it. But yeah, the words are escaping.
Thriving.
Thriving
through menopause.
To thrive in menopause.
Like that.
I also like very much what you said about being natural, because if it's for me, I would always want a natural thing. So you said that is a natural way, and also that you have very much faster results. I love those two things.
Yes.
What about thriving naturally through menopause?
I like that.
And Lisa, last comment on this one for now. Oh, I've got
making friends with menopause.
Hang on, let me unmute you. Okay.
The word that came to mind for me immediately was owning. I don't know how exactly, but I feel like it's like owning your body, owning this transition, owning something. Like I like embrace, but I feel like embrace needs to be with something. Embrace, I don't know.
And owning could be something that you have in the copy, like the text further down. So what I would say for now, Joanne, see, this is a great example of the hive mind of once you ask and you're getting something out there and you get to also test it out with your ideal audience.
Yeah.
So for all of you, when you have these kind of things in these titles, don't try to just come up with them in a box. Put it on your page. So for you, put it on the ELA page as well. I would recommend posting it after the call or during the call. Go ahead and post, like, here's the top 3 titles I'm working with. Which one are you most resonant with? Or do you have another suggestion? Getting that feedback. And it's just going to be great market research for you. And I would say as a subtitle for you, I think, or it could be the whole thing, like 3 keys to thriving in menopause without pharmaceuticals.
Got it.
Notes on that.
Got it. Thank you so much.
I wish there was a better word for pharmaceuticals. I know you're saying drugs.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a little tricky.
I think I could probably just say,
or naturally, you could say naturally.
I could probably say just without using products, and people would know, just nothing extra.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So getting to play with that and see, that could be a great talk title for you to get to explore.
Yeah. Thank you.
It. Thanks, Joanne, for kicking us off. Let's give you a kiss. Mwah. And I'm going to hop over to Kat. What's your question? And thanks for adding in your voice on Joanne.
You're welcome. So my question is, I have a meetup group, but it's not going well. It's not engaging with people. And I don't know if I need to change the name of it because it's not resonating, or just scrap it all together and focus somewhere else. Because I have a good Facebook group and that's going well, but it's not local.
Okay. And what's the meetup group name?
So my meetup group name is my business name, which is Badass Red Dress Society, but it doesn't mean anything to people when they just see it.
Let me hear it. So it's Badass. What's the second?
Red Dress. Like
Red Dress.
That's the name of my business. It's an off name, but my focus is on polyamorous and non-traditional women.
Great.
So
okay.
So do I change the title of it to try to narrow in? Yeah.
Well, for a meetup, it's great to have something that's just really basic and speaks to those people. So for you, it might be the Polyamorous Women's Meetup.
Okay.
I know it doesn't sound very exciting. It's not very, very creative.
That's okay.
But literally, that's one of the best ways to just have a title that speaks exactly to your audience. Now, Meetup does have some things around dating.
Right. It's not a dating site.
No, I know, but I mean, they could flag you, so you might end up in conversation with them.
Sure.
Around that, and just as a warning about that. But because they don't want dating, and they don't want like money making focus. So for any of you that are looking at that, seeing how to do the workaround. And then having your event titles and your talk titles be really direct too. And then you have still your Badass Red Dress Society as like the group, or brought to you by the Badass Red Dress Society.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
That on. You're welcome. And you can also use tags on Meetup. So making sure you're using that function too for.
Yep, I have that.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thanks, Kat. Let's give you a kiss. For those of you just joining on and you haven't been on many calls, we blow kisses at Women Rocking Business for our gratitude and transition from one person to the next. And I'm also realizing, I always forget to say this at the beginning, that some of you have never met me before because I'm only on the Leverage group. So I'm a Leverage trainer and coach, and also train our Lotus women who are kind of graduates of Leverage, moving on to the multiple six-figure businesses. And so I have an overview of all the different stages of business. I have done the things that, and I'm still doing the things that you're doing in my own business growth, as far as hosting talks and meetup groups, and posting events on Eventbrite, having Facebook groups, hosting my own 3-day live events, and making paid offers from stage, doing grow conversations, sales conversations. I've grown a multiple 6-figure business of my own alongside working at Women Rocking Business, and now on to growing my second business. So I am right there in it with you. And I can really field any question that you could possibly come up with. And we have this beautiful hive mind. So sometimes we'll all open it up, like I did with Joanne's, to the group when I know that it's really a matter of hearing what lands, what resonates with your target audience too. So thank you all for being here with your questions today. And Kia, I'd love to hear yours next.
Hey,
Where are you? Oh, there you are.
I am actually on twice.
You're on twice. Great.
I started on my computer and realized the video wasn't working there, but I had already raised my hand. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just,
you are.
And
yeah. Sending love to your daughter. I saw that.
Thank you.
She was at the hospital. Is everything okay now?
She broke her collarbone yesterday, landed in an accident on the back of her shoulder, and it just like compressed and just the whole thing.
So, that is rough.
She's turns 11 on Friday, and so we're modifying all sorts of birthday celebrations and things like that. She's currently strapped up.
Yeah. Oh, well, sending you both love, because I know you're living the mom life and taking care of her, and you're here also for your business. So congratulations on.
And I will be in Santa Cruz next week for that, and so I'm like, okay, we got to get all the ducks lined up before I leave you for a week. Yeah.
Yes, and I love that that's what you're seeing. Like, okay, here's what we need to do. Here, slight change of plans, but still seeing the big vision. Awesome, Kia. How can we support you today?
I think it's a pretty straightforward question, actually. So I'm working on my 5 levels of thriving health, right, based on the business guidelines, the levels of business that we all get. And I was putting it together and noticing for the one that we have in ELA and in Leverage and the Women Rocking Business, everything is very like specific and tangible. And I know that's something that I really love about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone through this thing and like checked off the list and been like, okay, now I have kind of an idea of what's next. And I'm going through mine, and everything, like half the stuff I'm coming up with is very not tangible. So it's things, it's more mindset oriented, or, I'm dealing with health. So it's harder to kind of be extremely tangible. Like, I don't want to say, have you lost 10 pounds? Because not everybody needs to lose 10 pounds and, all of those kinds of things. So I just love to hear your thoughts on if, how, as much as I want to get it to tangible things, do you have any suggestions for 1, how to do that, or 2, what are important considerations to think of when I'm putting together this list? Because I want it to be useful for my clients to map them where they are on this journey.
Awesome. Great. So I'll just give a little context for those who may not have seen this yet. We have a handout at Women Rocking Business called The Levels of Business. And it's a great thing for you to look at just to see where you are. Look at that. Look, you were just right there.
It's fabulous.
So it'll be in your forum as well. But the Levels of Business really takes you through what you should be focusing on when you're in your first stage of business. What are the focuses for the second stage, third stage, and up to 5. And they're also related to elements that you're taught in ELA and in Leverage. And we were suggesting for our Leverage women that they come up with their own levels, their own kind of blueprint of how their clients can place themselves on the path. And so for you, Kia, with the 5 levels of thriving health and focusing on someone expanding into greater health and well-being in their lives, it's not going to be quite as tangible as, like hire your assistant at this stage and like earning this amount of money. But I think that the important thing is making it relatable to to all of the potential clients. So for instance, when you say well, I can't say, have you lost 10 pounds? Because it might not relate to everyone. Then you could say something like, are you at your ideal weight, or your healthy weight?
Mm-hmm.
Have you reached your healthy weight? So thinking about how you could word questions so that it's more personalized to them, and they would be like, yeah, oh, this is just for me what it would be. So I don't know if you have other examples like that of ones that you're feeling stuck with. Happy to read them.
Yeah. So another one is this idea of like feeling okay putting your own needs first instead of always defaulting to taking care of other people instead of yourself. Right. So that's a big thing that I work on with my clients, because it doesn't work to get yourself healthy unless you're doing that. So, you know, this concept of like truly believing that it's okay to put yourself first, not just knowing that it's a good idea, but really believing it. Like, is that still too arbitrary? Does that need to get nutted into something more like, what does that actually look like? And so,
yeah, well, the thought that comes to mind right now is, I put myself first and my calendar is the proof, or the proof that I put myself first shows up on my calendar.
Yeah.
Something like that, because someone could say, oh yeah, I've made headway with that, but then it's not tangible. So I see what you're saying. Like, what is that tangible link? If you were giving your client an assignment,
yeah.
You know, like an assignment that I've given clients before in here in Women Rocking Business is who are struggling with that are to block out sections on their calendar every day in a different color that's just for their personal practices. They're like taking time, like I just said, starting off having lunch outside before this call, like going for a meditation and walk this morning myself. Like, how are you setting yourself up for the day? It shows up on your calendar. And if you're not putting it in your calendar, then you're probably not doing it and prioritizing it. So making it more tangible as an action step that you can be giving them. And
Awesome.
How are these pieces? The point of doing the 5 levels of thriving health for you, Kia, is also so that you can say, oh, all these pieces are in the program that you're teaching as well.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that action steps too. That makes total sense. Perfect. Awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
Great.
you.
You're welcome. Let's give you a kiss. Mwah.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you next week. And how many of you are coming next week to Rock the Stage? Yay, awesome. I know we've got a few screens here, so I'm flipping through to see. Okay, awesome. And some fingers crossed too, I see. That's great. And I know some of you are just jumping in and it's not where you are right now. That's no problem. You'll be able to attend the next one. And it's awesome if you can make that space for yourself and come right now too. So I'm going to jump over to Kathy next. Where is Kathy? I'm just going in order of the hands here.
Great, thank you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I have a question about my signature talk and how to seed my story into the talk.
Okay.
Like where and when and how. I know Sage has a handout on it, but I just wanted to get a little more detail.
Okay, so your question is how to seed in your signature talk.
My signature story.
Yeah, your signature story. So the story that you tell is just part of your talk, and the seeding is more so happening throughout the talk. So the story is one element, telling your personal story. And then throughout your talk, you're going to be referencing your program. So in the story element in particular, one of the ways that you can seed is through the climb out. So I can't go into the whole teaching around the story element right now, but the story arc is like a mountain that goes up and then down and then up again. And so you start at the top of the mountain with sharing where you are now, what's occurring in your life now. And then as you come down that mountain, you're sharing the challenges that you've had. Now, those challenges, ideally just 2 or 3 big challenges that you're speaking to, all relate to your clients' challenges. So it's one way that you're more covertly seeding is you're speaking to them as well as you're sharing your challenges. So if you have one that's really like not related to what your clients are going through, then we recommend just leaving that one out, sharing the ones that are. I was just chatting with a client about this, how, you know, we can have a lot of different moments throughout our life that we think like I could share the 15 different challenges that I've had, but when you keep it to only 2 or 3, it's like, you know, Serena talks about this as our master storyteller here on staff as like a file folder. And it's not that you're not including those pieces, you're just choosing which paper to pull out. Like, here's the story, and here's the challenge I'm going to speak to, and then we've got this whole file folder of what's possible. And then you get to a turning point moment that was really pivotal for you. And after that moment is when you start to move out of the challenge and take steps towards your, towards who you are now and what's happening in your life now. So this is the main area that you'll be seeding, in the sense of, for instance, if you say one of the steps you took was choosing to hire a mentor, that's seeding for them hiring a mentor. Or one of the steps I took was choosing to give myself the gift of going on a retreat and intensive and getting away from the rest of my life. If you're selling a retreat or an intensive experience that's in person, it's going to be important for you to have that as one of your moments in your story. So it's not in the story, you're not saying, oh, in my program or when you're on retreat with me, this is what we do. It's still your story, your experience, but you're just getting to share some of the elements that are going to definitely relate back to how you teach your program and the breakthroughs that you get your clients as you share some of the ones you've gotten. So for instance, in business coaching, you know, when I've shared story around business coaching, I would often share a piece about hiring a mentor, of course, as one of them. And another one I would share would be like choosing a niche and the importance of really claiming that as a first step. And then when I would share about how one of the first steps in my program is to help people really claim their niche or their niche and get to claim their messaging, be really clear on who they're here to serve and how they're here to do it, it relates back to the story. They already know, oh, that was an important step you took. I need to take that step too. Does that make sense?
It does. And is it a rhetorical question when at the end of the story, I say, have any of you ever had an experience like that? I don't want to open it up, right? Because then it goes into this whole back and forth storytelling.
Well, so you can say something even more direct. So when you do the tie back, which is important, that's what you're referring to, Kathy, is the tie back is for incorporating the whole room. And so you could say something like, you know, let's see. Well, what's your niche?
People over 50 feeling calm, happy, and healthy.
Okay. So if you're sharing a story about a time, imagine, where you didn't feel healthy and you were stressed out, and yeah. So you could say, like, how many of you can relate to feeling like totally stressed out, overwhelmed, and like you could just leave it there, stressed out and overwhelmed, and raise your hands. Right? They're not going to get into a back and forth of story. This is where the raise your hand piece is really good, and you've got to do it too. So when you're telling a story, especially like live and in person in front of a room, it's the hand raising. You can do some of that virtually as well, as you've seen on the calls. So that's a way to loop them in.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Thanks, Kathy. Mwah. Give Kathy a kiss. And Reverend Jen, you're up next. No, try to unmute you. Maybe. There you go.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
So I just jumped into the program, so I'm just catching up with where I am and all the videos and
Congratulations.
stuff.
And did you jump into ELA or Leverage?
ELA.
Okay.
Or sorry, Leverage.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes.
Welcome.
So
I'm going to try and do a really succinct question with where I'm stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny bit of background. I'm a ceremonial artist. So right now my main work is working with spiritual and creative couples, co-create a highly custom wedding ceremony. So that's the work I'm doing. I have a couple of advertising pages on The Knot and Wedding Wire, and that I need to just kind of get moving a little bit more. But what I've gotten really excited about recently, and I'm going to work with Taylor on a TED Talk, is on end of life. I was with my dad when he died 7 years ago at home, and I've completed some conscious dying, green burial, home funeral trainings, and I've learned all of this information about our legal rights we have that people don't know they have to care for their own loved ones after they die. So I've been doing free educational talks on that. And I'm stepping into that work. And the trick is my tendency is to be really pulled in many directions. And one of the reasons why I'm doing Leverage is to get really clear, concise, and have a path. So I've asked people for their opinions, and I'm split about 50-50 on, do I keep one business with one name, and that's the umbrella for all the ceremonial work that I do? Or do I need to have a weddings thing that's Weddings with Jen, and it's only weddings, and it's Instagram only weddings, and then there's end of life work, which feels a little pulled? Or can I do the subject tonight is love, and it's just all of it?
So first of all, I really want to appreciate the beautiful work that you're doing and really creating these ritual spaces for people for their important moments in life, and honoring you for that. And I see that that's the overarching theme of what you're doing, is that you're creating this really sacred ritual kind of space for people at their pivotal moments. So weddings and death are two of the defining moments. I would say if you add in birth in there, and then you've got all the ones that people are investing the most in as far as moments in their life, that they're like, now I'm really going to focus on this time for myself. And what's challenging about splitting the niche is that people who are getting married don't want to know about dying right now. And they're just I'm pretty confident in saying that. Like, some of you might feel differently, but I just think when I look at something like The Knot, which I'm totally familiar with their site and all their materials, it's like bliss, love, opening, like how much do you want to create? And yes, then your authentic expression, what do you want to bring in? They're two really different pieces. It's not, so I get what you're saying, that it's love, and yet it's not the same audience. And so when you're splitting your attention between those two, and then trying to have like two different Instagrams, for instance, that's going to be a lot to maintain and to keep going. But blending them on one isn't going to get you the most followers either, because people don't, like, if they're signing up to follow Instagram all about weddings, because they're getting married, and that's what they want to see in their feed. And if someone wants to sign up to see one that's about supporting through like green burial and honoring this passage through death, then that's the stage they're in, and they don't want to see a bunch of wedding stuff, because they might have just lost their partner. And it's going to be painful for them. And They're two different sides. So I would say, as Sage always says, it's micro niching for momentum, which is claiming that one audience that you want to focus on building now. Once it's totally built, thriving, you're rocking it, then you can look at, okay, now I've got team, they can handle this. I'm going to start building out another aspect and put my attention in a new direction.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Oh, it feels crummy because
yeah, you want to do it all. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know what the wedding thing is,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really speak to it doesn't speak to my story. It doesn't speak to, my walk with grief with my dad. It doesn't speak, if I were to talk about my story, I'd talk about, well, I had this really shitty failed relationship and now I have a kid and I've not gotten married. I have no and then my third marriage was bliss,
Well, there are totally ways to work around that.
I mean, and that's fine. I'm happily doing weddings and people are paying me to do weddings.
Yes, they don't need you to be happily married to give them the most beautiful ceremony.
No, they don't. And it's just my energy is moving towards the end of life thing. And
that's what I think is really the issue.
It's moving there, but I haven't really locked down the weddings to be flowing the income to feel like, yay, I can pay my bills,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And it could be, so it sounds like and based on the emotion that rose up immediately in you, I would say keep following that thread. Because if you think about what do you want to be building 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it doesn't sound like it's the wedding piece.
Mm-hmm.
The wedding piece has brought you income and it's working, and it could still continue to bring income through referrals and having people come in. But if you're going to choose one thing to be what you're known for, and for all of you to think about, if you were going to be on Super Soul Sunday and you got to talk about one thing,
mm-hmm.
What's your thing?
Right.
And what's your answer?
Yeah, that would be the end of life stuff.
Yeah. So for all of you, I would just say, when you tune in and you get those answers like that, just pay attention now, because rebuilding it later or, starting it over later is not going to be any easier.
Mm-hmm.
But claiming, okay, this feels hard and scary and I'm not sure about it. And it's also really what I'm here to do. So let's just do this thing. Because it's going to be all the same work that you put into it either way. If you're building a whole following on Instagram, why not build it for end of life ritual, grief, supporting people through that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know it's not what you want to hear, but
so then is it 3 websites? I have a wedding.
Well, so this is where I'd be saying, really it's about focusing on the one thing as what you're building. And so if it's grief and end of life, and that's what you get known for, beautiful. That's what you have. You could still have a site that if you already have that and you already have one for weddings and people could find that way, and you have some ads out there and it's just kind of flowing in that direction, you're not doing much with it, then by all means. If you're talking about building both from scratch, I would say just build the one.
Yeah. I'll just let the weddings do what it does. And
Yeah, exactly. You can just have that in the background and, mention to people, hey, you'd like to refer me, this is how, or have a JV or affiliate referral commissions. You can do some of those things on the side. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Let's give you a kiss. Mwah. Thank you for bringing your multi-passionate flavor in. I'm sure there's lots of women here who have the exact same feeling. And yeah, I just encourage you all to be asking yourself those questions of, okay, if I got to be on the cover of a magazine, if I got to be interviewed here, if I got to be invited to do a keynote talk or the TEDx, for instance, what's that thing that's just so juicy? This is what I want to be known for, because we have this precious time. to make an impact and share through our voice and our message. So now is when we are most needed. Yeah. All right, Lisa, happy to see you here. Lisa Garrido, you're next.
There we go.
Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yes, now I can hear you.
Oh, hi. So I'm super nervous because I'm going to move out. I'm surrounded by distractions. So I am calling in because my coach Shannon said for me to do this. So I decided I would go ahead. I have a retreat next month that I'm doing at the Land of Medicine Buddha.
Beautiful.
And it's a 3-day retreat. And she had recommended that I possibly do like a signature talk there and like do an offer from stage. She said, you should, get on the call with Megan on Wednesday and ask her about that. And I'm like, I don't even know what I would ask. So it's a retreat that I'm doing that's kind of totally, it's not unrelated to, I'm also multi-passionate in the soup, trying to figure all my stuff out. And so I've got like my hands in many, many things. But because I'm doing the retreat, it's a perfect opportunity to practice doing a signature talk. And at that point, doing maybe, I wouldn't obviously be on a stage, but basically doing an offer from like a maybe 2-hour block in that weekend that I say like, 3 steps to discovering, your key to happiness or something like that. And then kind of go from there. And so I decided I would just get on the call and just be brave and vulnerable and feel really silly and ask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa, for your bravery and for just asking the pieces of the question that you're aware of and for taking the guidance of your coach to hop on and just get in the ring. Get in the arena, as Brene Brown says. I, first of all, just want to understand that you're leading this workshop and a retreat at Land of Medicine Buddha, and people are paying to come to this one offering. They're not part of a program with you. They're just coming to this standalone.
No, it's just as a yoga teacher and a mindfulness coach and all of that, I'm putting on a weekend retreat, like in the middle of the holidays, to just connect, nourish, relax, kind of come back to yourself, your essence. And
Good.
Yeah.
So I know from talking with you before that these are your ideal kind of clients that you would want to do work with and coaching work. Yes. And so Shannon's right on in recommending that you do this signature talk piece, because what can happen so often, especially for yoga teachers, as I know you know, but maybe others don't, that was my background as well. I've been teaching yoga since I was 18. And it felt weird to go in as a yoga teacher and do a talk because you're there to teach people yoga or meditation, and that's it. That's where it ends. The whole idea of doing a signature talk mixed in there can feel awkward. But really what I found from starting to insert that into my work years ago was people really appreciated getting to be in a space where they could ask more questions, where you could do some kind of group work, because the signature talk is not only about you talking, that's like you talking for like 10 minutes and then teach something.
Yes.
And they get to do some group exercises and shares with you and with each other. And so it creates a lot more engagement in the group and more connection, which is something people are really hungry for.
Yeah.
So having that as part of your workshop and part of your weekend flow is awesome. And is it 3 days?
Yeah, Friday to Sunday.
Okay, perfect. So then when we would recommend doing this would just be like the 3-day event model where you're doing more of that kind of a talking piece in the like afternoon before dinner on the second day. So on Saturday, having that space. And then you're making an offer for a next step with you. So because it's not like a full live event model and they've paid to come and they're attending this as their retreat, the great way that you can do this, and especially for any of you who have those kind of workshops or retreats happening, a great way for you to be able to make an offer is just to offer your discovery session, offer the breakthrough session, and let them know that, you know, what you see after people come out of a workshop or come out of a retreat is that as the days go by and you get further away from the retreat, you get further away from this feeling that you have right now. So you'll want to get them centered in what that feeling is. Like they feel spacious, or they feel grounded, or they feel like, their senses are more turned on. They're more tuned in, aware, more connected to source, whatever it is that's coming up for them. So get some shares happening in the room of what they feel. Yeah. And then you'll say, this is so beautiful, and this is why we gather. This is why it's so important to have this space. And one of the things they see is that, as you get further away from the retreat, you're, next weekend or a month from now, 2 months from now, this feeling starts to feel a lot further away because you have your family having needs from you. You've got work, you've got other obligations that are coming into your field that you don't have here. And this is why I love to meet with each of you after the retreat in a one-on-one session. That's my gift for you. And we want to so I've opened up space on my calendar over the next week after this workshop to have a one-on-one breakthrough session to see how you can sustain what we've created here in the retreat in your life, and how you can integrate that back into your life. So I'm just going to pass around the sign up with times, and before you go for dinner, just choose a time to commit to yourself so that you're taking this ripple forward from the retreat into the rest of your life.
Okay. All right. So you think that I should then be doing, because when Shannon and I were talking, because I already have, I have a mentorship program that I'm doing for yoga teachers. So I launched that last month. And then I also have a couple private clients that are not just like single private clients, but they're now doing like a 6-month, while it's yoga, it's more a kind of a coaching program kind of for them as well for 6 months. So when Shannon and I were chatting, she said, well, maybe, and is it like, would I be open to basically not just doing like an offer into like, a breakthrough session, but maybe offering from that forum into like my 6-month coaching program?
Yeah, you could offer into the 6-month program. It's just, if you haven't made offers from stage before in that way,
and I have not.
Yeah. So it's great to get the experience with making the unpaid offer, because I'm sure, as most of you can feel like, we could get a raise of hands too. Like, how many of you felt like the offer I just made you was really generous and supportive and like easy to just sign your name up on a sheet? Yeah. There's like no barrier.
Okay.
Then you have that one-on-one conversation. It takes you half an hour, and you get to find out, here's what's really going on intimately with that person. This was their experience during the retreat, and find out what they're really wanting. Are they a good fit for the coaching program? And then you can make that offer to them.
Okay.
In the one-on-one session. So it's a lot easier to make the offer because you're getting to hear what their deeper why is and what they're wanting. And you can absolutely just go for making your offer for the coaching program. But when there's a bigger investment involved, usually people want to have the one-on-one conversation with you, unless it's a full event that's all geared completely towards that offer.
Sense. Okay. And I'm sort of in this beautifully but crazy expansion stage, right? So I'm experiencing resistance as well as excitement. And so I've got my mentorship program, which are my yoga teachers. And then I have like my private, like just private clients. And then I have my private like coaching, like they've signed up for a 6-month. So I've been thinking, as this starts to get a little bit overwhelming, right? Because that whole idea of like people might say yes, and they have. And now all of a sudden it's like that transition from taking like my one-on-one clients. And then I was thinking of maybe doing like one group coaching call a month, right? Where they could, because right now I'm going to their homes or a space where I'm doing yoga and coaching one-on-one.
Okay.
So like that next transition would be, because like, okay, so let's say you and I have a breakthrough session and you're like, Lise, it sounds great. Yeah, sign me up. And so whether that's me coming to do yoga with you, meditation, mindfulness or whatnot, doing a Zoom call maybe once a month, but then I can take like, if I have like a handful of private clients, I can add in like one group Zoom call.
Yes.
And that would be like the next like organic step.
Yes, and this is so important. So for all of you to really hear this piece who are doing a lot of one-on-ones with people, this is how you start to make that transition towards having a group. You start to connect your one-on-one clients by saying, and as a bonus for you, I'm going to be offering this training once a month that all my private clients get access to, because community is so important. You get to build this together, be together. And that's a way for you to start transitioning people over towards the power of community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I know, it's big, right? Yes. And are you coming to 1440 next week?
I am. So
Good,
looking
because
very forward to it.
Rock the Stage is all about being able to make your offers. And this is exactly what we're suggesting for you right now.
Yeah.
So this is perfect spot. And for each of you, Rock Your Stage is really devoted to you and your speaking engagements, your signature talks, your 3-day live events, all the ways that you can be making offers. So.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Right.
Let's give you a kiss. Mwah. Stretching. Stretching ourselves. Yes. Amber, you are up next. Hey, Amber, I'm going to unmute you, or try to. No, you're going to unmute you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, my question I think is probably much more nuts and bolts, but so we have a clinic that serves children, teens, and young adults with functional medicine for mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take insurance, so we get a lot of calls, and people, we feel like we need to tell them that up front so that they can make an informed decision, but then immediately they're like, well, then how much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we don't get the chance to have a discovery session and kind of get them involved and really engaged in understanding their goals and needs and why this is different and why it costs more than going to a regular doctor, and try to enroll them in a year-long program with us versus just an individual visit. And so I don't know how to handle that because people want to know how much it costs, and it's really, so how do I do that? How do I handle that?
Great question, Amber. And I think this is something that actually a lot of our clients face in all different fields. And people want to know that right up front, like how much does it cost? And so one of the things I would say for your specific case is don't talk about the we don't take insurance piece right off the bat, because you'll want to just get them in. If it's a free consultation, so if you have a consultation at the start, which is what we recommend for everyone to have the consultation, then you're having the grow conversation with people like as they're going through this. So when they're going through the grow conversation, then you can let them know that you don't take insurance as you're talking about the price options.
Okay.
But they're going to be much more invested in their why. And the way I would also flip it around is if you find yourself in that kind of conversation and you're saying to someone, well, like there's, you can always say, and this is for all of you, there's a variety of investment levels. And it's important that we sit down and just have the quick conversation to find out exactly what you're facing, what your specific needs are, so I can let you know. You could give a range as well. That's totally fine. Like we have payment plans starting at X number of dollars per month or X number of dollars per session, something like that. So that you're giving a smaller number than the whole program price. So that's another way that you can address the conversation. And then the bigger conversation is how much is it costing them? That's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to skillfully move into that conversation of like, I hear you're concerned about the investment. And can I ask you a question? And then if they're like, oh, yes, then you would say something like, well, in the conversation, in the consultation, we also really want to get to the bottom of what it's costing you, because you and I both know that money isn't the most important thing here. There's a bigger cost that's happening to your health. And, for each of you, it could be different, to your business, to your relationships. And we want to get to the bottom of what it's already costing you. from not taking action. And I know that you're phoning today because you're ready to have some support. And, I may or may not be the right one to support you, but I'd love to find out what some of your best next steps could be and then give you a recommendation.
So what do you recommend? Like, people call and they talk to the receptionist and they want to have this lengthy download to her, and she's not really going to be the right one to have that conversation with them about, really getting into it, because she needs to be handling transactions and stuff. And so it's like, people want to enroll, they want to know the price, they want to know the this and that. And so, I mean, we're thinking about just trying to say, hey, it sounds like this is a bigger conversation. Let's get you scheduled with, a health coach or whoever to have this conversation. Okay. All right.
Exactly. That's a great way to handle it too. That it's just, you're directing someone to the sales conversation as the next step. That it's not, it's like, if someone called, like I've had this experience with calling the vet, like, well, my dog is wheezing and making funny breathing. Like, what do you think? Like the vet tech or someone that's at the desk is like, well, sounds like it would be a really good idea for you to come in. Because that's what they're always going to say. And so people are used to hearing this in medical ways. Like, everyone will try, like, just tell me what to do, like, tell me the answer. Because they're a little panicked too.
Yeah. Do you suggest you do it in person versus phone?
It doesn't matter. What does help is face-to-face. So meaning it could be on video. And so doing a video sales call or enrollment conversation is definitely best, rather than just being on the phone, because then you get to really be with each other.
Right. Yeah. So do you find, because like in our case in particular, like, people are expecting, it's like they have a model in their mind, right? They think, oh, I'm calling a doctor's office, I'm going to make an appointment, and then I'm going to pay with, and so it's a little bit of a disjointed thing for them when they realize, like, oh, this is like a completely different thing.
So this is partly the education and for all of you in your business, you're always educating your clients on how the system works. They're not telling you how it works. You're letting them know, okay, this is how we do it. So for you to have the receptionist saying, so the first step is actually to have a free consultation. After that, you can decide, what course of treatment to join, or however you want to say it. But you're just letting them know there's a consultation first.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amber. Great questions. Let's give you a kiss. Mwah. And Vaidehi.
Yay!
Yay.
Hi.
Hi.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. You as well. What's your question?
Yes. So what I'm realizing after hearing Reverend Jen and Amber and just the last few conversations, it's really kind of helped me get a little focus. So what I'm realizing is, I don't want to say I'm in niche soup, but I'm in niche soup. And my question is really around speaking to my Facebook audience and my Instagram audience. And then what kind of content I'm sending out via email. But I want to preface that by saying that I'd like to share my statement that I have been working on. And I help entrepreneurs find their purpose, do business the feminine way, and build their purpose platform. So I just wrote that now. Like, I'm trying to hone in on the fact that I help entrepreneurs, but when I think about, like, the death versus the wedding, it's like the entrepreneur focus versus the goddess spiritual focus. It's like the goddess stuff inspires me more. And when people look at me and talk to me, they're like, wow, you so inspire me with your whole goddess dancing, singing, business energy and your spiritual energy. How do you do it? So that I'm more passionate about, but I'm also passionate about entrepreneurship and helping women find their purpose platform and build it. So I'm trying to come to a space where I know what I am so that I know what I'm talking about. Because the reason I don't know what I'm talking about on my platforms is because I'm like, I want to talk about spiritual stuff, and then I want to talk about business, but not really. I just want to talk about finding your purpose and knowing how to get it out there. So that's kind of where I'm at, refining this niche thing, and then knowing what points I can speak to in the world.
Sounds like I'm going to be just so blunt with you because we've already had a few conversations, that it sounds like you're considering choosing the business niche because you think that it's going to be more profitable. But it's not really where your heart is. Is that true?
I don't even know, because like, I don't think the business niche is going to be more profitable, because I know that wherever my heart isn't, that's where it's not going to be profitable.
Right. And the business niche is actually the hardest to break into.
Yeah. And so when, Sage and Serena took me on stage and she was like, dude, you're a multimedia producer. You do video. Like, you need to tap these people. I'm like, yes. And before, I've just been thinking about like spiritual people, but now I'm also thinking about women entrepreneurs. And that's helped widen my range, and it's helped me have
so let's get more specific then. So the multimedia side that you work on with them, how would you ideally like to be working with these entrepreneurs that incorporates that?
Thank you. So I love helping women find their oomph. So whether that's through dancing and movement, or whether that's speaking on camera, or speaking their truth and using their voice, I love to help them develop their presence, their brand sauce.
That sounds like it. That sounds like I could imagine sending someone. So tell me if this is right. So as far as passing the face test, I could imagine sending someone to you who is a woman who has a message, but she is not feeling confident on camera. She doesn't feel embodied. Maybe she's disconnected from her body and needs to have support to really get present in her body so that her message can come through clearly, and then have support with actually creating those videos, getting that content out there on a platform, social media platform, website, online, basically online marketing, being seen and heard in online marketing as an embodied, powerful woman that she is.
Ding, 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 ding.
So I could see you helping people in like really customized packages where, and I know people who do this kind of work where you would go to them and hire them to shoot your videos, for instance. And like, so do you do that part as well?
That's what I was doing when I was living in LA. I'd shoot videos and edit videos, but I'm like, I'm not just a wrist. Like, I have more than that. And
exactly. And so it's about you getting to create a program that's helping these women to feel like, now I'm confident in my message. I'm landed on, this is what I'm here to do. This is my purpose. My thought would be you'd be helping people who are a little further along in their business. Like they've got it going on, more like a leverage level woman who's got her message happening already, but she still feels like, oh, I'm kind of hiding out behind the scenes and I don't feel like a natural in front of the camera.
That too. And also newbies though, because, people that feel really uncomfortable with technology and they're like overwhelmed, because I studied multimedia communications, I learned how to make podcasts, how to edit videos, how to make websites. I studied code, I studied graphic design. So it's like, I have all these, I'm not an expert in each of them, and I'm not interested in being an expert, which is why I chose multimedia, because I was like, this is too much obsession with the curl of a Q in a serif font. I'm like, I can't live like this. So I chose not to focus in either of these directions, but to understand how to operate within all of them so that I was empowered to be my own marketing, to be my own creator. So when I spoke to Serena last, she was like, you're a purpose coach and you help people find their purpose platform. Love that. But when people want to hear also like moon wisdom from me and how to work with energies of the moon to schedule their business goals and tasks. And then they're like, I want to take a pole dancing class, and you just move so natural. So like, I know that there's this feminine essence that's like the underlying sauce to what I offer that I want to put in the forefront as well. So I'm trying to marry everything I am, which is again, the spiritual thing, the business passion, entrepreneurship. And then I have that kirtan spiritual, like coaching for the mind, like, hey, understanding these, like, Bhagavad Gita, like these kind of elements and bringing them into your field. So
Yeah, it's like the spiritual principles behind business. So the spiritual principles of your online presence.
Yeah.
And I could see you weaving this in more, and for all of you to consider, if you have these kind of multifaceted, which everybody has, your multifaceted pieces that you want to bring in, how are you doing it through what you show in social media? So one of the ways you could already be doing this is through, for instance, Instagram, and sharing like dancing videos, sharing meditation practices, sharing these pieces, but sharing them with the slant that it's for women entrepreneurs. It's for your purpose clarity. It's for your visibility. It's for your confidence in front of the camera. And so every time you share one of those things, you're not just like, or meditating this morning. It's meditating to start the day so that I can land in this grounded clarity and bring that forward to my clients. Or here we are doing this special Kriya before shooting a video so that my energy and vibration is high. This is what I do with my clients. This is how we work. This is the secret sauce behind how my clients show up.
I'm like wagging my tail. I'm like really excited because it feels like this is the reaction. It feels very much more, yes, thank you. Because like I have these, my question was going to be like, help, I have these places where I can be talking every week. Like I do kirtan twice a month at Divinity in Santa Cruz.
Right.
I have a satellite co-working space where I'm welcome to give talks, and like I can literally pitch whatever.
And I would say that's what I would say. So I actually very much, because I used to live in Santa Cruz, I did kirtans and I did yoga classes at Divinity at the same place. And I would start just saying like, you know, some of you know that you're meant for more. Some of you know that you have a message that wants to come through you. And, you know, in my purpose clarity breakthrough sessions, I help women discover what that is. We can only do so much here on the mat or here in a class. And I know that your intention is here and you're praying for something, you're calling something in. Let me help you more with that. I'd love to gift you a session.
Woo! I'm not being dramatic. This is real for me. This whole, like, your coaching is so cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaidehi. And I love that, you know, Serena is really seeing the bigger picture of what you're up to with the purpose clarity. And that's what we're just honing in and saying, okay, give a purpose clarity session to a client. It's all the same message, but just making sure you're bringing in all of your ingredients, like you said, your secret sauce of the spirituality.
Yeah, and that's why I needed more of this like little stuff, because now here I am in front of my like Instagram and I'm like, I totally want to be saying stuff, but I'm paralyzed because I have so many directions to go in and I don't know how they're together. And I'm like, I'm supposed to find my niche. And I'm like I feel very disjointed.
Yeah.
And part of my story is that I've suppressed my own gifts so that I can be spiritual, or then so that I can be a straight A student at school, and they haven't been who I am. So that's why it's so important for me. And that's part of my story too, is coming into a vision that allows you to be on purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vaidehi. Thank you. Excited to see where this evolves. Let's give you a kiss. Mwah. All right. I know we have someone on the phone too, so I want to make sure I hop over here because I don't have a name, but it's 9843 are the last 4 digits. So I'm going to unmute you. 9843. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Hi.
Okay, great, Megan. Hi, this is Nancy Sigerson, phoning from Canada. I'm in the Leverage program. So good to be here and hear your ladies' stories. And I have a question based on the call that we had yesterday.
Yes.
And this was like the levels of business and how we're to kind of create our own plan for our clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with women who are looking for long-term love. And I'm just beginning to refocus my niche into mentoring younger women whose biological clocks might be ticking, and they're looking to be in a solid, healthy, long-term marriage, quote unquote, relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just had some a question for feedback on my plan, the levels of business plan for my clients. So I'm looking towards like ditch the dating drama, your step-by-step guide to true love.
I love ditch the dating drama. Yeah, because that's a good, or it could be like, so we know that numbers work well in titles when people know that they're going to get a few steps to something or keys or secrets. Right. So it could be like the 3 secrets or 3 keys to ditch the dating drama.
Okay.
And find true love.
Yeah.
So let it be simple. And whenever any of you are using numbers like that, the lower the number, the better. Like, not to say one, but like 3 or 5 instead of the 15 steps to lean. We know that there are more steps than that, but you're just giving them a few.
Beautiful. No, that really helps. Like I had all these kind of different words written down around that. Mm-hmm. So that's great. And just the second part of my question, I have an opportunity to speak at the Edmonton Women's Show. Mm-hmm. So that's coming up on the 19th, and I have 25 minutes, but it's not necessarily, of course, your, target audience. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offer, based on what you suggested, offer my, like a soulmate or a breakthrough discovery session from stage, and hoping that I can, maybe, it's going to be like 10:30 in the morning. So it's like the show opens at 10. So it might be a more intimate group. So I'll take that opportunity to have more kind of interaction with the audience rather than like you don't have to stand on the stage. I mean, you can get down around the tables and actually.
Yes, which is always great when you're an intimate audience, getting in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So any tips? I know we've talked about that several times in some of our calls, but when it's not your stage, mm-hmm. but you're one of several that will be speaking. So kind of how to maximize that time.
Yeah, so definitely the intimacy, creating connection in the room. So creating connection with those, the people in the room with each other, and then connection with you. If you can offer a free discovery session, breakthrough session, then in your talk, you want to make the case really strong for why it's going to be so helpful for them to have that breakthrough session with you, and how you just wish you had all day with them, but because there's so many workshops, they'll need to move on to other workshops, and you really want to make sure that you're giving them the kind of customized experience they deserve.
Oh, I like that. I really like that. That's awesome.
Great opportunity, Nancy, and love your talk title. Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome.
We're blowing you kisses. Virtual kisses.
Feel it. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And how about, I know some people jumped. Juliet, you've been waiting a long time. Hi, Juliet. You're unmuted.
Hi. So interesting listening to all these questions and the day here. I kind of relate, but my question was really about a meetup question. So before I started ELA, I'm already the leader of a monthly motivational speaker group. And this has been going for 10 years. It's linked thinly to Tony Robbins. It's called the Yes Group, and it's about monthly positive talks. So here it's a great platform, and this is how I got my own first client, from one of my talks when I gave a talk here. My question is the meetup. I've adopted this. We're on Meetup, and I've taken it over. But we've got 1,362 members, and I don't know how to access. I don't know Meetup well enough to know, but we have such a small group, and I'm wondering, how do I connect to all these people, and how does Meetup work where people sort of join? And we do have a fee. It's a small fee, but we're trying to increase our numbers. And we have, with maximum, like peak, when we've had peak nights, it's about 30 people, but averaging now 8, 13, maybe 20 on a good night. But we have all these, we have 1,000 members and more. So is there a way, how can I harness? And maybe it's not necessarily I can practice with this to develop for my work, but it's a great, I've got access to all these members, and how can I leverage them?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So leveraging them. So having a lot of people sign up for a meetup group doesn't mean that they're engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not necessarily going to be attending. So having 8 to 13 people showing up for a meetup is awesome. So you're doing well with that. And then, yes, and I know you want more. And so one of the things is, of course, you can send messages through Meetup. You can send emails through Meetup as well. So that would be one of the ways to start engaging people that way, because if people have allowed that, and they have to have had that in their settings when they signed up to allow messages to come to their inbox, then you can reach them with your emails and offerings. And then definitely having hot talk titles that are, so they're rotating and you're not just having like generalized meetups. And I don't know what you're already doing, but for everybody to know, just having your talk titles as the title for those specific meetups. People come because they're interested in the topic being delivered, not just because they're a part of that meetup.
Yeah. So we have the list of each month, and I invite speakers to come, and they give me their titles. So when I go onto our page, I can see all the previous months stuff. I'm checking. We do have a MailChimp email that comes out like the beginning of the month, and then 2 weeks before, and then 2 days before, and then the day before, and on the day, like a little sequence of the same email, just repeating. So that's, and as I said, the peak nights, and if it's a good speaker, we might have had them before, it's 30. And I've had that. Last year, I had the highest, I had 30 people come, and this is before I knew any of this stuff. But then this year, it was a small group of about 8, and I was totally thrown. It was a week where schools were off on holidays.
Yeah, and so I would say look at some of those things. If you can look back through the track record and see, okay, what do you have a certain night or a certain time that is attracting more of your ideal audience, the bigger groups?
It's a third Tuesday every month. So people know it, in one sense, it's regular, third Tuesday.
Yeah, which is what we recommend, having that regularity. So
it's very strong in that.
So
I just didn't know how to engage these people.
Yeah, you have a good pool of people to draw from the meetup, and then it's a matter of, offering regularly, just like you're doing, sending them the reminders. And a lot of times people will sign up for meetup and then just forget about them because they wanted to come to a particular one that you had, or they were interested at the time, but now they're not. And it's a matter of getting some fresh ones in there. And so then marketing, you can do a paid ad on Facebook, just like $5 a day for 3 days. Things like that to start to bring in more people, putting the event on Eventbrite as well as on Meetup or any other free event online kind of services in your area that can help get the message out.
Okay.
And not only relying on Meetup to get the message out.
Yeah, we do other, we have a local paper that's a free one-line ad. We have the MailChimp. I just
Facebook ad, like a Facebook event as well.
Yeah, we do the event, but I don't get a lot of engagement on the event page, and I tend to like the week before get the guest to just running up to do a little. I haven't even got to the split screen of a Facebook interview, a live interview, but I just say, can you just put a video, can you post, or I grab a picture, and I just try and get their stuff, several little things happening on Facebook beforehand, and make my own comments and ask my team to comment. It's still very small, but I do a little bit of it, but it feels very tiny, even though I do a little drive.
And often that is the case with meetups, especially when they're just happening regularly like that. It'll be the smaller groups. And so I think the important thing for you to consider as a next step is, how are you leveraging the time that you're there, and how is this actually bringing in money for your business? And if there isn't that direct link, it may be that you want to start your own meetup and having that space and like fresh interest that's specific for your niche, and you're the main speaker all the time.
Okay. So not to get like, it's when I see these member numbers, it's hard to maintain compared to Facebook. It's different. Having 1,000 people in your Facebook group is very different to 1,000 people in Meetup.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I shouldn't be panicking that I'm
No, not at all. This is totally normal. And it's great that you have, it's great that you have it at all. Okay. That they're in there and you're having like 8 to 13 to even up to 30 coming. That's really good numbers. And then it's a matter of looking at how are you connecting it to monetize it.
We do, and that's our challenge because we are under an umbrella organization, and we're trying to, it's there, but I'm just checking.
Yeah.
This group, because it was already here, and now I can use it for my own. So thank you.
Yeah, good question, Juliet. Thank you.
Great.
Give you
Separating
a kiss.
Thank you.
I'm doing laser round here. Vanessa. Unmuting you or trying to here. Yes. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
What can we help you with?
This call and one more call before my retreat. I have 36 parents coming.
Yes.
I'm really excited, about 22 households represented. And I'm just putting my program together and my offer. And I've been working with Shayna, but one of the things I would love help with is just, I just rewatched Sage's offer from Stage at Women Rocking Business San Diego. It was so good. She's just so good. And the way she lays out each part of the program and what it really brings to each person was so good. And I love how, she's like ELA or leverage. And one of the things I'm running into is, with my parents, there are 3 kind of sections of my program. There's the personal coaching, which I've got 10 sessions is my idea. And then coming to 3 retreats a year. And then there's the 2 calls a month, which are the training calls. And I would love for everyone to want all of that and give me $850 a month. But as I'm getting into grow calls with folks after a 50-person workshop I just did last week, I'm noticing people are like, oh, that sounds like too much. Like, I don't know that I can get away 3 times a year from my kids. So the retreats objections, and the personal coaching price point with like the $850. So one thing we talked about was maybe doing 2 tiers where it's $850 includes private coaching, $550 includes retreats and group coaching. Without the private, and then they can always add that in, but it won't be at as much of a discount as it is if they sign up for it now for the whole year.
And
so what do you think about that being kind of pointing them into the direction during the retreat of like, you should do, like, I get them to the point where they're like really clear that like more support is needed, all those things.
So
but
at a live event
options.
At a live event, we always recommend offering one thing as the thing. Like, that's the main thing that you're offering. And then you see us at Women Rocking Business Live having, we have a conversation of ELA and leverage because there are 2 programs at this point. And when it's your first event, we recommend just starting with one offering. So if you were offering the main program, there's 2 ways you could do it. One is offering that lower price version, the $550 a month, and then saying like there's an option to check off if you want to have more personalized support, then check off this box on the form and you have the payments there. What it would be per month is $850 a month, and that includes private coaching as well, and show like what the reduced rate is. So you're not making a big deal of focusing on that. You're just letting them know, hey, this is there. It's an option for you to add in private coaching at this point. At the lowest rate, it'll be all year. Or the opposite, where you sell the high price and you make your offer for the higher one. And then after the event, you would do follow up with people who don't enroll and let them know, hey, really would love to support you, and wanting to find out what stopped you. Oh, it's the investment, it's too high, and then you can say, well, we do have one other option that I think you might be interested in, and it's the $550.
Okay.
Without the private coach.
And like making a decision between those two options, like what should I be considering? Because that's a pretty big decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people, my bigger concern is actually about the retreats for them. Like, that's what I'm thinking is going to be the bigger objection. And it sounds like you're hearing that as well, like for them to get away from their kids 3 times a year.
Yeah. So one of the thoughts was to have childcare built into at least one of the 3 retreats.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible to have less than 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may be like just 2 times a year.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe there's 2 retreats that are in the program, and then there's this retreat, which is annual, which you can come and you can learn these things again.
Exactly.
Part of the program.
Exactly. Like, so this one you're welcome to come to, as well as like a bonus, but then there's 2 retreats that are just for clients.
Okay.
So that could help with that objection. And then also you're going to need to talk about how important it is for them to have that time away and those few days to like disconnect from their kids and come back to themselves and their own resourcing, and that they can think they don't have time to do it or that it's not possible, but this is one of the things that's actually stopping them from having the kind of dynamic that they want in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the objections that'll come up with the pricing or the difference, you really have to stand in what you're making the argument for. So either you're really saying like, here's the program, it's $550 a month and includes this, or you're really making your stand for the private coaching and that bigger package and why that is going to be the thing that people really need. So
I wish I could offer the private coaching for the lower price, because I really do think that's where a lot of the magic happens for folks. I mean, I'm getting more confident about what I offer in my master classes and trainings as I'm practicing in my Facebook group and with my first cohort.
So how about this? Less private coaching sessions and an in-between price. So it doesn't have to be monthly or multiple times a month. And yeah.
So instead of 10, maybe 7 or something, 8.
Yeah, 6.
6. Okay. Well, if I had if I had the 7 pillars of my, the whole roadmap thing, I could have 7 sessions.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting way to like put those 2 ideas together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then bring the price down.
Yes. Yeah. So that can be a way for you to drop it as a monthly investment.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Less of your personal time as well. So it's really going to feel better for you to welcome more people in when it's set up that way.
Okay, so maybe I could go there, and then if the people don't sign up, I could still do the follow-up and say, look, if we take the private coaching out, and I could even offer to take the retreats out potentially.
Yes.
Yeah, and try to find a price point that they can manage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So flexibility on the second end, or a checkbox in the event.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And I would recommend just honestly, I would just say lowering the price of the sessions and having that one price. It's like you get 7 sessions. This is the package, 2 retreats, 7 sessions, group calls, and you're just talking about that as the whole offering, and deciding on what that price point is. So it's really clear for you and it's really clear for them, especially for your first paid offer.
So clarity over options in the paid offer at the event.
Options make people unsure about what to do. They have to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so counterintuitive, because like part of what I coach parents to do is like offer choices so they feel empowered. Yeah, but I think I need to lean more into the like, this is how business is done. Like, this is what the process is. I have come up with what really I think supports you.
And that's it. It's like, I know this is what's going to most support. And I hear that in your voice. Like, that having the private sessions is really going to be a match for the support they need. And so you get to stand in that authority.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
okay.
Vanessa.
Also, I think it's harder to stand in the authority of the retreat because I haven't done one yet.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah, of course. But I'm like assuming that in the retreat, I'll be like, this is so obvious, this is great to everybody, that it'll be an exciting feature of the program. So I'm going to like ride on that.
Yes, exactly. And that's what happens in the energy of an event like that.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. So leave those in. Okay.
Blessings to your retreat.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I can say for a few more minutes, I'm going to laser through just like nutting down your question to the core for, let's see, is it Marit? Marit, are you on here? I think that's you as user. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Cool.
Hi.
Thank you for choosing me. I have one very quick question and the main one. The quick question is, I'm establishing my newsletter in MailChimp, and is it better to put a picture on the top of the newsletter or not? Because I like it to be beautiful, but I was told that 60% of all people who read newsletters, they have it on the mobile phone and they might block the pictures.
Yes, it is true. Pictures often get blocked from your emails, and I'm with you on the beautification and wanting it to be that way, but it's true that they do get blocked in many emails, and so it'll end up in the spam or junk folders. So it's better to go for a text-only email.
Text-only, okay. Great, that's the first question. And then I have a similar question like Ikea in the beginning. My program is about life purpose. Find your life purpose and find your own true inner greatness. So my program is called Greatness, and I would like to establish 8 levels of greatness, similar to the ones that Sage put up of a business level. And I kind of have no idea, and I was wishing for some inspiration about those stages.
Yeah. Great. So here's what I would say for establishing the levels is you want to link it to thinking about what are the levels your clients go through when they're working with you. And so what are those steps that you're taking them through, that you're guiding them through? And so that's what you're going to be speaking to, is just the kind of steps that you see them going through. And if you have steps of a program or steps of one-on-one work with you, that's what you'd be bringing in. And you could, the best next step for that is to write out a draft and then either post it in the Facebook group or bring it to a coaching session with your coach and look at, okay, what are these levels that I'm walking people through? Because you're looking at the overview of where you see people going. And where are they headed with you ultimately? And this is sort of like spiral marketing, because you're thinking about, here's the first thing that people would need if they were in a talk with me, and then here's the next few things people would need if they were in a group program or a workshop, and then you can kind of move like that for the different levels.
Okay, and it should always be several points per level?
Yes, several points per level, just like the levels of business have, that you've got several bullet points, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but you're having 4 or 5 maybe. Yeah.
So 4 or 5 per level. So if I have 8 levels, it's 40 points.
Yeah, it could be, but you don't need to have 8 levels. You don't need to have that many levels. You could have,
I like the number 8 because it's about greatness, and according to Feng Shui, it's a really good number for this.
Well, you could also have 8 points, like potentially even in 3 different levels of like programs you would guide people through.
Good idea. Great.
Way to narrow it down a little bit, because you're probably not going to have 8 levels of a program potentially, or like tiers that you're guiding people through so much that you could have 8 steps or 8 modules within a program.
I do have 8 modules in the program.
Exactly. Great.
And you recommend me not putting
No,
up.
that's
or-
good.
but-
No, I'm saying that could be good. 8 modules in the program, but not necessarily. It would be like if we had ELA and Leverage and Lotus and then, 5 more tiers after that.
Oh, no, I don't
Yeah.
want to offer the programs. That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
But are you recommending me not establishing 8 levels of greatness, but to reduce the number of levels?
You could have the 8 points of greatness, 8 for the modules you offer within one program, and then you could look at what would be the next tier, right, that you'd be working with someone on. So no, it's like 8 bullet points. And this is all related to the levels of business sheet. So if you look at the levels of business sheet, you'll see like, okay, there's level 1, but then there's a whole bunch of bullet points below it.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
check marks. Yeah. So similarly, you could have like 8 bullet points, your 8 modules that you're offering below one tier.
Okay, great.
And that
Thank
would be
you.
a great thing. Yeah, you're welcome. And that would be a great thing to bring to a session too, to get to work out all of your details.
Okay, I hear
Yes.
you. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mwah. All right. Rachel Cooley. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a quick question.
Great.
So I recorded I had my group program just started this week on Monday. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded it on Zoom on my laptop.
Yes.
How do you recommend I deliver it to my ladies? I was thinking Dropbox because I don't have like a big website for them yet because I'm just starting out with this. What do you recommend?
Yeah. So you would, let's see. So you would just have that download on your computer that you need to upload somewhere. And so Dropbox is the easiest place. You could also load files onto Google Drive.
Okay. Google Drive.
You could use Google Drive, or you could use Dropbox to load files onto. Or if you have a website that allows you to load files on a secret page that's a password protected page, then you would put them on that page and then be directing them to that page with a password.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's where you would have all your recordings.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I've got 3 options.
And you can also record sessions from Zoom to the cloud. But you have to
Okay.
make sure there's enough room in there in
Okay.
your cloud and pay for that service. And then you would be able to just copy a link and send them that link in an email and say, here's your
Okay.
session.
So that probably would be the next level of Zoom to be able to do that, I would think. Right now I'm at the basic $15 a month.
No, you can do it on the $15 level.
You can? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you can do that. It's just a matter of making sure there's enough space. So sometimes the cloud will run out of space. And so ultimately you won't have enough room to store all of them in there.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That'll save space on my computer.
Yeah, I know. It gets really full with that. Yes.
Very
on
quick.
Zoom.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yay. See, short and sweet.
Thanks,
you.
Rachel. Mwah.
Mwah.
Ashley, what is your short and sweet question?
Hi.
Hi.
Real quick, I'm good friends with Shireen Sun, and I got her newsletter that announced Lesbians in Love and stuff.
Oh,
oh my God.
Thank you. Yes, she gave us a shout out yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love seeing that. So yay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. I kind of feel like I'm super related to Videhi and what she's up to and what I'm juggling. Hi, girl. I sort of feel like I'm starting over and building off of what I have at the same time. And right now, people are mostly finding me through my decluttering and organizing business, but that's no longer where my heart is. And I've been sending out, I have a couple girls geographically who are great at going out on their own, and I'm kind of managing that. And I know there are sometimes opportunities to offer them more, but on yesterday's call, Sage suggested that I really step away from the whole cluttering aspect of what I really want to do is soul purpose work. And I offer spiritual readings, Akashic Tarot readings, and integration sessions. And I do single sessions, but I really want to do bigger packages. So my question to you is I need some clarity on my next best steps. And my coach is Claire, and she's been saying, do these potential client interviews and really listen to what they want and then create your stuff. So I actually have a couple I guess they're discovery calls or inquiry calls today.
Well,
But
they're they're ideal client interviews, so it's a little different, but you've got the format. Yeah.
okay, yes, those are totally different. I hear you. But you know, they're finding me through clutter, but they've got so much more going on. And so I don't know if I want to keep customizing something for each person, because I find that I'm constantly working and I don't have a lot of money coming in. And I'm getting kind of tired, but I'm not giving up. I just need some direction where, like, I almost just want to start with a new website squeeze page that's really focused on the soul stuff for my clutter clients who that's a good fit for. Great, I'll tell them about it. But I sort of feel like I'm trying to just keep the plate spinning of the decluttering organizing work. It was so dead. Now it's starting to pick up again. So, you know, but I also really want to grow this soul purpose work. And I love that there's so many of us all about life purpose, soul purpose. Like,
yes.
Calling of us light workers today is like, we need to be doing this work and people need it, but we have to sell them what they want first too, right?
Yes, and people do want purpose work. That was Sage's first niche.
Right.
So, or maybe not the first one, but it was one of the first ones.
So
she did numerous things. Yes.
Totally. And just to wrap is like, I'm hearing since yesterday that maybe my sign isn't decluttering and organizing anymore, but that kind of changes everything. So I feel a little bit overwhelmed and stuck, but I also have been drawing my tarot cards and I know that I'm supposed to really claim this change and celebrate it, you know? So I just need a little guidance on how to get there strategically.
Yeah, so it sounds like what you'd be bringing in is supporting people on their soul purpose and being aligned in their soul purpose, and through doing work like tarot readings for them. And that's different than just giving them the kind of, you know, worksheets and strategy around things or business coaching around it, that you're focusing on more of the spiritual side. And so I would really recommend for you, Ashley, that it's about bringing that to the forefront, that that's who you are and that's what you're up to and how you can share that more and more online. And you're not just, you're not just sharing it in the sense of like it's something that's in the background, but it's really the foundation of what you do, so that when people are seeing your social media posts and they're getting to connect with you at a talk, for instance, maybe you start with doing readings or you're asking people to like pick cards, and I'm sure you know like those kind of posts from social media where someone's saying like, choose a card and then I'll pull it and read for you. And you're connecting with people who are interested in that. And then, you know, they're self-selecting themselves. Oh, I'm interested in this. And then you're starting to talk about purpose and, you know, inviting them to ask questions about that. So it's about feeling it out. And Claire's totally right to be giving you the assignment of having those ideal client interviews, because nothing replaces that. Nothing replaces getting to talk to people and find out what are they really needing? What are they looking for? But then it also has to match up with like what's over here too. What's in alignment for you. Yeah.
And do you think it's okay to jump into like a 9-month offering or maybe start with a 3-month?
So it's great we always recommend offering a longer program first. And so it could be 6 months, could be 9 months, something that you can enroll people in for a longer period of time, so that if you need money right now, so if you don't, then you can totally build out the smaller program and then build it to a larger program and have those tiers. But yeah, for income producing, it's the larger program to get more people enrolled, you know, not more people, some people enrolled, a handful of people enrolled at a higher price per person.
And if they really want to focus one of those modules on decluttering their space, great. I can
you can have that as a module of what you offer, but it can be something that is it's part of the whole picture rather than it's one of your tools in the tool belt. It's not the whole program.
And so I feel like my niche and my programs are shifting because I'm extracting that focus of clutter and just right now kind of leaving that word out, and it seems to work. And just interviewing people and making offers. I'm just not always sure who to interview and what to offer because I'm in this transition.
Yeah. So you're starting to, when you're in transition like that, it's really about just starting to claim one thing at a time, one post, one talk at a time. This is what I'm up to. And here's this one title of one talk, one Facebook Live.
Yeah, I'm
One thing
teaching
at a time.
a workshop in a month, which is a group guided Akashic meditation for soul journeying and purpose work. And I really want to make sure I'm prepared for my offer at the end. But leading up to that, because it's not for a month, I need to bring in some more money now. So
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for helping me clarify some of that.
Thank you, Ashley. Let's give you a kiss. And I do have to hop into another session. I know I stayed 15 minutes over, but I have another session. So client is waiting. And I look forward to being back with all of you here next month. So second Wednesday rather of the month. And seeing many of you next week at 1440. I'll be popping in there on the third day. So looking forward to that, and sending you so much love for how brave you are being in your businesses, each and every one of you, with every bold action you're taking to make our world a better, brighter place. Sending you blessings for your business. Mwah. Bye for right now.